Hello everybody, welcome you all at Learning is Fun with Prajnaparamita. Today I am going to tell you about the reflexive pronouns. What are the reflexive pronouns and how do we use them in different situations? I am going to tell you in this video lesson. Actually, reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, himself, herself, and themselves, etc. And these pronouns are used in different situations in English language. While we are talking and while we are writing several things, we have to use them properly. In this video lesson, I am going to tell you what are the things and what are the main points you have to remember while using these pronouns. So watch this video lesson very carefully and stay with me till the end to know all these things. Now, I am going to tell you, as I have told you earlier, the reflexive pronouns are herself, himself, themselves, myself, yourself, etc. And when the subject and object of a sentence refers to same person or thing, we use a reflexive pronoun as the object other than or rather than a personal pronoun. This is the point. That is, when the subject and object of a sentence refer to the same person, we have to use a reflexive pronoun instead of personal pronoun. Here are the examples for you. She forced her to eat it. Here, in this example, we find she and her refers to the different person. She and her are not the same person. So, in that case, her is a personal pronoun. So, here, when the subject and object refers to the different person, we have to use a personal pronoun. But if we say, she forced herself to eat it. Here, forced herself, subject and the object refer to the same person. That is, the person subject is she and herself refers the same one. So in that case, we have to use a reflexive pronoun instead of a personal pronoun. Now, the singular forms of reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, etc. Whereas the plural forms are ourselves, yourselves, themselves. And look at here. When you add es, then you have to transform or remove f instead of v. And when it is es, you have to use VES. So this is a significant pronunciation and spelling difference you have to keep in mind, because when it is singular you find F is F ending, but when you add S, the F turn into VES. So this is another significant point. Use. Now, where do we use these reflexive pronouns? When we talk about action where subject and object are the same, we have to use reflexive pronoun. For example, I cut myself shaving this morning. Here, I cut me. We don't say that, I cut me. Instead of that, we have to use I cut myself, because here again we have to watch that we see that the subject and the object refers to the same person, and here a reflexive pronoun can refers to other thing besides the subject of a clause. For example, his letters are all about himself. That is, here himself actually refers to the other thing other than the subject. That is, the subject matter of the letter is referred here. I am going to tell her a few facts about herself. So here also we find that the reflexive pronouns refer to the information other than the subject of that clause. Now, reflexive pronouns sometimes used as emphatic or as to emphasize something. When they are emphasize something, we use that or we tell them as a reflexive pronoun in its emphatic use. We can use reflexive pronoun for emphasize. Here, after an intransitive verb to emphasize the subject, these are the areas where we use reflexive pronoun to emphasize. That is, after an intransitive verb, we have to use them to emphasize the subject. After the subject or object, when the verb is transitive, because there are two types of verbs. If you wish to know more about verb, I have video lesson. I will provide the link in the description box below. You can watch that link also to know more about transitive and intransitive verbs as well. After the verb that is transitive to intransitive, to emphasize that something is done without help. This is another point. Sometimes after verb we use that reflexive pronoun or to as an emphatic use or emphasize something when we wish to say that somebody done that thing without help of any other person. After noun, to emphasize that noun, so we use emphatic use or emphatic reflexive pronoun in the following areas. Let's see the examples. We phoned the plumber and he came himself. Here we find that we phoned, he came himself to emphasize the subject here. He didn't send his employee. That means it can be possible that the plumber can send his employee or someone else. But here, to emphasize the subject, we have to use that reflexive pronoun himself, and it is called emphatic use. I hope you like the ice cream. I made it myself. Nobody helped me. Here, myself, we use myself in order to trace the action that I made it by myself, but nobody helped me. I was given this book by the author herself. Here, this sentence again signifies that that is trace the noun, that is author is a noun to trace that noun herself, that is the author gave me personally, her personality, or he gave it to me or gave me personally. Now, we use reflexive pronouns to emphasize that the subject caused a certain action. Here we can compare something. He got arrested and he got himself arrested. Here, this is the difference. He got arrested and he got himself arrested. That means he did something to cause it. So here, this himself is to emphasize the action of that person, that is he. We use reflexive pronoun with the meaning or similar to also. That is when we are talking about also, about that mean also, we use reflexive pronouns as well. That is, John said he was feeling ill. I was feeling pretty bad myself. That means I was also feeling pretty bad. Now, I am going to tell you there are some verbs or there are some areas where we do not use reflexive pronouns. What are the verbs? We do not use reflexive pronouns with the verbs like hurry, fill, sell, open, etc. Here, some verbs are rarely or never used with reflexive pronoun. That is, as I have told you, these verbs, with this verb, we often or we rarely or never use reflexive pronoun. So let's see the example. And more verbs like that: complain, concentrate, get up, hot, tired, lie down, meet, relax, remember, sit down, wake up, etc. These are the same categories of verbs with that we rarely or never used a reflexive pronouns. For example, she concentrated hard on getting the job finished. Here, we don't say she concentrated herself, because concentrate is a verb. With this verb, we never use that reflexive pronoun with it. However, reflexive pronouns can be used with the verbs like wash, dress, shave, if it is necessary to emphasize particularly that the subject is doing the action. So, usually or rarely we use the reflexive pronoun with this verb like wash, dress and shave. But if we wish to emphasize the action or emphasize particularly that the subject did that action or is doing the action, we have to use a reflexive pronoun. So let's see the example here. He is recovering well from the accident and he is now able to dress himself. Here, dress himself refers to the action the author or the person, the subject can able to do that. Now here we use reflexive pronoun with dress, with the verb dress, because we wish to just emphasize the action. So if we wish to emphasize the action, we can use a reflexive pronoun with these verbs as well. Reflexive pronoun after preposition. Now let's see how do we use or we don't use a reflexive pronoun after preposition. For example, here after preposition of place we often use a personal pronoun, not a reflexive pronoun. Here are the examples for you. She took her dog with her, not with herself, because with is a preposition and with that preposition we have to use a personal pronoun instead of a reflexive pronoun. Jim had the money with him. Here also in this example we find that with the preposition we have to use a personal pronoun instead of a reflexive pronoun. After preposition closely linked to their verbs, we often or we use a reflexive pronoun when the subject and object refers to the same thing. Here, let's see the example. Here is the twist. He came out of the interview looking pleased with himself. Here in that case, if the preposition closely linked to the verb, so here we find he came out of the interview looking pleased with himself. There is an action is referred to here and the subject and object refers to the same person, that is pleased with himself. Himself and he are the same person. In that case, we can use a preposition, reflexive pronoun with preposition, and in that case, we never use pleased with him. Pleased with him is not a correct use. Because why? Because preposition closely linked to the verb we use. Okay, so here the verb pleased and came out is closely related. Be ashamed of, believe in, care about, to do with, take care of, etc. You can use a reflexive pronoun with these verbs also. And here ashamed of, after preposition we can use a reflexive pronoun. Believe in, we often say that believe in yourself. So here in that case we can use a reflexive pronoun instead of personal pronoun. Take care about yourself. Here also after preposition we can use a reflexive pronoun. Do it yourself, take care of yourself, etc. So in all that case, we can use a reflexive pronoun after preposition. Now, in some cases where we use a reflexive pronoun instead of personal pronoun, for example, after, as, like, but, for, or except for, we can use a reflexive pronoun instead of personal pronoun. So let's see the example. These shoes are specially designed for heavy runners like yourself. So here we can use both yourself and like you. So in that case, instead of personal pronoun, you can use with these verb or with these words, we can use both a reflexive pronoun and a personal pronoun. More examples like these, everybody has clearly except myself or except me. Both are correct. Hope you like this video lesson. If you have any queries, please to comment in the comment section. I definitely reply them. So no more today. Thank you for listening and bye bye.